Good evening, everybody. Another wonderful evening. We're happy to be here. Got a lot to talk about on tonight's edition of The Focus. Got Cardell Dudley. Octavia White is on the phone with us this evening. So, Octavia, how you doing?
I'm good, man. What's up?
Octavia, you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. We're just testing something real quick.
All right.
Yeah, so as long as she jumps around 0.
Got you. She can't be that high.
And you can bring YouTube down a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm
Octavia, we're going to restart, so don't go anywhere.
Okay.
I don't know what that. Testing. Put that on. That can't. Cardell, talk real quick.
Talk real quick. Is it my mic?
It's just really sensitive today. All right, hold on real quick. Go ahead, talk.
Yo.
It's because the phone's on. Okay. All right, Octavia.
Yeah.
Probably what we're gonna end up doing is right after we're done with the Super Bowl, we're probably gonna let you go because there's just crazy feedback coming.
Okay.
All right. So just give it a second. I'm gonna bring you right back on. I'm not hanging up though.
All right.
All right. All right. Take two. Welcome to tonight's episode of The Focus. Thank y'all for tuning in as always. We got Cardell Dudley in studio with us. We got Miss Octavia White on the phone. And I'm Wilson Turpage. You and Octavia, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. Trying to stay out of the snow and the sleet and the rain and the ice.
Yeah, it's kind of messy out there tonight, just a little bit.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we got a lot to discuss on tonight's show. We got Wizards, go as always. We're gonna talk a little Super Bowl because I mean it's happening this week. Week 7 of high school rankings, some college basketball, the D1 level and some JUCO, DC United preseason update, and probably some very, very, what's the right way to say, sensitive material and rapid fire. Depending on who you are, some people might be, yeah, we'll get there. It should be fun. I think that's the safest way to say that. All right, but first, Cardell, you got something going on next week?
Yeah, next Tuesday will be my new issue, dropping a new issue. NBA Mid-Season Awards is not the final season awards, so you know people don't like to listen these days, but just some mid-season awards from what we've seen covering the league. You know, and I'm going thorough. It's not going to just be your typical who you think front runner for MVP, Rookie of the Year, blah blah, all this stuff. I'm gonna even do All NBA, rookie team, defensive team. I'm gonna really go all in at this point. Who I feel deserve those honors or whatnot, and to kind of give you a glimpse of what to look for moving forward, because a lot of the people on this list will dictate, who has a shot at the ship later in the season. Obviously, the Warriors are the favorite, but who even challenge them? So, it's been a lot of players that have emerged. We talked about Shockham up in Toronto all the times. The players like that, the way Greek Freak elevated his game. You're looking at James Harden. I mean, the rampage he's been on over the last couple of months has been historic. So it's going to be, very thorough. And, everybody who don't get to see what we see kind of get a, glimpse through me.
All right, man. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm sure people appreciate that, too. You definitely get a chance, fortunate enough to take a peek behind the curtain, if you will,
Right.
very often. And it's always fun picking up different things that you can't always see, just by watching on television.
Right.
Especially during pregame, so many good things before games. But Octavia, there's kind of a really big game going on. It might be,
man.
I need you to have the same energy you had 3 weeks ago.
Oh, man, I wish I could, but I can't.
Okay, well, we tried.
I tried. But yes, for missing from last week, of course, we didn't go over who actually made it to the Super Bowl. But, we did. I'm sorry. So, of course, at this point, we have the Patriots and the Rams will be taking the center stage in Atlanta for the Super Bowl this upcoming Sunday. Really, I've heard a lot of different reactions of what people think is going to happen once the game begins. I just kind of wanted to talk about a couple of players that, if you haven't been paying attention all season, these are the players are going to be the ones that need to perform really well for the team, for their respective team to win. On the Rams side, the number one person that I got to think about is Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald has been a beast all year, and they're going to need him to continue that streak. They're going to need him to get to Tom Brady to make him make those throws and those things that he doesn't want to do. And I foresee that happening just because of who and the type of player that Aaron Donald is. Another player that I'm keeping an eye on as well is Ndamukong Suh, just because his playoff performance has been very, very well. This is his first time, I believe, in the Super Bowl. So he is, riding high right now, and I'm interested to see how well he's going to continue playing in the biggest game, basically as his entire career, being out there in Detroit for a very, very long time. And I think he was in a brief time in Miami. So this is going to be a big game for him, and see if he can produce and keep everything going. Another thing I'm also really going to be looking at is the health of Todd Gurley. Last game that they played in, Todd Gurley didn't play too much. There wasn't a lot of reports if it had anything to do with health, if it had anything to do with, C.J. Anderson just being the person that they needed to have the ball at that time. So with this time off, if it is hopefully he's had that time to recover. And not having a big role in the team just because it's been a year. I expect him to go off, but I do also expect C.J. Anderson to have a big part in it as well. Going to react with Brandon Cooks, Robert Woods. Are they going to be able to beat their man? Are they going to be able to get open? And is Jared Goff going to be able to get in the ball? Which Jared Goff will we see? Will we see the Warriors quarterback from when they played against the Chiefs and, driving the team down the field, going every which way? Or is it going to be the Brandon, is it going to be the Jared Goff that we saw against the same thing with the rhythm where he really came in and rhythm, although, of course, at the Superdome, how he came in rhythm there, just how loud the crowd is. So I'm really interested to see how this game is going to play out for them. The other side of the ball, the Patriots, the biggest question that I have is who's going to stop the Patriots? Like, this is their third straight Super Bowl. Will Brady be the person who gets the sixth Super Bowl? Right now, he's past his best. If he wins this one, he'll be the only person to have six Super Bowls. It's a really big game for him. You can already see the team going back and forth. Von happened to do an interview where they asked Tom Brady for that advice that he gives Jared Goff. He said, I'm not giving him any advice. And that's good. I'm not going to give any advice either. Second game for the season. But a lot of players who stepped up for the Patriots in the playoffs, but in my opinion, they're more important than Edelman and Gronk. Those are the players that stood there with Tom throughout the course of his career. And although Gronk, Edelman may not have touchdowns that although the players have received so far this postseason, but they've been the players that when they need somebody to step up, and they're the ones that go to. With Edelman, plenty of third down conversions that they needed as well as Gronk. Now he's doing it with receiving, but he is so tight and being able to block and being able to still how they get apart as a team. And then, as you were saying, we had 5 rushing touchdowns in the playoffs between all running backs as of now. And then, of course, you still have Rex Burkhead, who has 3 rushing touchdowns, running backs rushing touchdowns as well. So I'm just interested to see how much they keep that up. And just to see how the game is going to play out. In my opinion, you can never really bet against the Patriots. If you do, like I said, those Rams top players are really going to have to show up and show out. The Rams defense really have to be in charge of containing Sonny Michel and making it very difficult for Tom Brady to get the ball to his receivers. I also like the fact that it's going to be a game. They're not going to get an adjustment between some of the Rams and Belichick. I just can't wait to actually see that dynamic, old school, new school, who's going to come out on top. I'm not really great with predictions, but if I had to go with any type of prediction, I'm going to go 28-26, and I can't go against the Patriots. I do think it's going to be a really tight game, and I'm just ready for Thunder at this point. I don't have any predictions as far as who's going to win.
All right. Well, so you got the Patriots winning 28-26. I'd say that's what you're going with. All right. Well, we want to thank Octavia for calling in. I believe she said she had the Patriots winning 28-26. Cardell, your thoughts on?
I really don't know. I know Brady. I know he's the favorite, obviously, with the Patriots, with the run they've been on the last few years. But the Rams have the tools to hit this dude, and history shows when you hit him, when you get to him and hit him, he's not as efficient, and you can beat him. I went back and did some digging in his Super Bowl losses. Super Bowl 42 when he lost to the Giants, he was 29-48. They got 5 sacks on him, but he was hit 9 times. And then Super Bowl 46, another loss, he was 27-41. He had a reasonable game, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked twice, but he was hit 8 times. And then obviously in the Super Bowl against the Eagles, he was 28-48. He had 3 touchdowns, 1 sack, but he was hit 9 times. I feel like when it shows when you hit him, he even gets flustered, and that's your chance. But the thing is, they gotta get to him, and the Rams have the tools, but I think I'm looking to see if their corners will hold up. That's the thing. Will they give the guys enough time to get to him? And hopefully they will. But if not, he'll pick them apart and then be another bowl for the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing is we already know Sean McVay is brilliant. We've seen that offense work. The other thing we know is you give Bill Belichick 2 weeks to scheme against whoever you may be.
Aaron Donald, them boys.
That's 2 weeks, and I think the biggest guy. I'm also looking forward to Wade Phillips in that defense because he gets overlooked so much. He's very good at what he does. There's a reason.
That's how we beat him in the AFC.
Like Wade is very good at what he does, and I guess that's my biggest thing is I kind of trust Talib, and Marcus Peters is always up and down. Mm-hmm. You can't have up and down people dealing with the Patriots.
And
that's
my
big
talking.
Nicole Rowe.
You gotta.
I know he's trying to walk that back a little bit, but
it's already out there.
And that's the other thing is like primarily a lot of the stuff they like to do is in the slot. Like you are already a target to begin with.
Exactly.
So I hope for his sake, his team comes out on top of this. And obviously, one big key to thing is going to be the play action game. Octavia mentioned earlier because that's pretty much what the Rams love to do. Mm-hmm. If Bill Belichick finds a way to kind of slow that down, it's going to be a long day.
And you make golf have to beat you.
As we all know, that's what the game plan is going to be. It's just a matter, can he do it, 1, and then 2, if they can avoid that horrible one-dimensional situation.
Yep.
So, Octavia had 28-26. You throwing out a score, you just.
Y'all can put me on the hot seat. I'll go go 28-21 Rams against the
28
Even Pie. Yeah,
28-21 Rams.
that's what my
All right.
man.
I was talking to Jarrell like last week, and I'm not gonna go away from what I said.
What you said? Oh, the Patriots.
Yeah, the Patriots big. So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
So
You
leave that
give a
alone.
score.
No, I'm not gonna give a
So,
score.
so you gonna back out.
Oh, so you- okay.
So you gonna, ducking that rack like
42-21
like your favorite
Patriots.
player in the NBA.
42-21 Patriots.
All right.
42-21 Patriots. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's where I'm going with it.
Hey,
I'm just, you can't make mistakes against them. And that's all I'm saying is like, you made mistakes against the Saints or you went dormant for like 2 quarters. That was okay. That's not okay against them. So
It can happen because the Rams got an emotional group. So if they get down early, I can see the imploding coming. But that emotion also helps on the
Yep.
other end. So we'll see.
Aaron Donald, as Octavia said, Aaron Donald.
Is the key.
If there's one dude who can personally wreck a game,
Like Von Miller.
yeah,
Like
those
tuck
types.
and tuck
Yeah.
and straight hand back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have one, and maybe 2, depending on what suit does, as she said. But as always, Octavia, thank you so much for Super Bowl preview and the NFL segment. But we're gonna take a quick break. When we get back, we got week 7 of the high school basketball rankings. We got some college basketball to talk about, and of course, Jamal Hayward and 9450 breakdown a little bit later on in the show as well. But you're watching the Focus TV, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Focus TV. As promised, we're gonna check out this week's high school basketball rankings, both on the boys and the girls side. And when those are done scrolling across your screen, we will pick up with the college basketball segment. All right, so Cardell, shout out to you. How was your part of the rankings? Where you don't go through that nerve-wracking process I go through each
It
week.
was a big win. Baltimore probably beat St. Francis over the weekend, so
Huge win.
it shook things up. And Flint Hill, got to give a shout out to them. The math holding steady, doing what they do. It seems like every season. The Mike Jones, but Flint Hill murdering people. 19-1 on the season. They led by Cutest Wahad, big 6'11" center, and the guy that kid that I invited up in Jim Couch that everybody was sleeping on, Jordan Harrison.
Yeah.
Who's emerged as one of the top point guards in the mix as one of the top point guards, not just in the area, the region, the coast. And a lot of college coaches are starting to recognize it, and I'm happy for them. That's why I try to get kind of under radar kids up there up to New York, because when you playing against national kids and you do your thing, that your confidence just goes through the roof, and when you come back home, it's just like it's on.
Right.
So, shout out to him. He's been consistent since then. So, people need to watch out for Flint Hill. They're doing major damage.
All right, on the college basketball side of things, your Maryland Terrapins, the woman that is, they had two road games.
Right.
But they passed the test in both cases. Stephanie Jones had 20-point outings in back-to-back games. Shakira Austin, she broke the freshman block record already.
I saw that.
Already. She's currently at 50. Well, she's passed this by now, but this was the first part of the road trip, which was against Ohio State. She had she got to 53 blocks, which passed Marissa Coleman's then record of 52 blocks for a freshman. And Maryland used the second half run to beat the Buckeyes 70-57. On Sunday, they played Indiana. Kyla Charles, one of the talented junior trio, she scored a season-high 25 points. 19 of them came in the first half to really set the tone for, otherwise kind of a young team, which was very needed. And shout out to her for doing the work on the boards as well. She pulled down 11 rebounds. As I just told you guys about Stephanie Jones with that another 20-point game, she also had 5 rebounds. The other talented freshman that we talk about so much, Taylor Meisel, she had 13 points and 5 assists. They return home this week on Thursday to host Wisconsin. And another note for Shakira Austin, the accolades continue to pour in midseason. I guess, yes, this is still technically an accolade. She was selected as one of the 15 players on the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year watch list. As announced this past Friday, she's the only freshman on that list.
She's dominant, man.
Yeah.
She's. I wouldn't be surprised if she pulled a Jewel Lloyd down the line, try to leave early. Mm-hmm. I'm not putting that out there. Don't get mad at me. But I just see her progression on both ends.
Yeah.
It would become child play by the time she become a junior and stuff like that. It'd be unfair. So, but she might, I'm gonna stay 4 years. So, and with the new CBA coming with the WNBA, it might be very lucrative to bounce. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. So, just keep an eye on all that.
Man, just like you said, her progression is just so rapid. And it's crazy because she's at like 30% of what she could be.
Right.
And to have that type of impact, it's crazy. And then, obviously, you're a freshman. Your body's not built for the rigors of this level yet. So, just anxious. Excited to see how she continues to grow. And, shout out to the Terps.
I don't know. Because when you want on top prospects on the AAU circuit and all that, playing for the top programs like Riverdale Baptist and stuff like that, it's not like how we were back in the day. They tailor-made to get you ready for college. That's why she's having that impact. Right. Normally she would tap out, you know what I'm saying? So, kudos to her.
That's a great point, though.
Yeah, so it depends on where you come from.
It's a very, very good point. But Maryland's now on a 3-game win streak in conference play, which never hurts.
No.
And the Big Ten is extremely deep this year.
Right.
It is I think Kyla Charles said last time they were home, which was after the win over Penn State, this is probably the deepest the Big Ten has been, and it feels like it finally evened out. Because before, when Maryland got to the Big Ten, they were ahead by quite a few lengths.
Yeah.
Conference play games were just formalities. Now, they have to earn them, and shout out to Rutgers because they're still eating the conference this year, right now.
Who's their coach?
You already know.
One of the GOATs. So.
And that young lady, that everyone excited that she finally got to play. They overturned that rule. She's headed to Rutgers.
Of course.
Yeah. Another talented big heading to the Big Ten. But JUCO rankings. So we're going to take a look at those, and we shall be right back. All right, so those were the JUCO rankings. Man, and thank you to y'all that are tuning in on social. We truly appreciate you guys. Just as much as we appreciate you guys that tune in every week right here on DCTV. That being said, Jamal Hayward at 9450 Breakdown. Each and every week he provides us with great basketball content. This week, the breakdown is front change, drop, cross, jab. Again, it's a front change, drop, cross, jab. And right after that, we're going into a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about these Washington Wizards. And of course, can't talk about them without the Capital City Go-Go. You're watching the Focus TV.
All right, today we're going to do a breakdown of a front change, which is also called drop, cross, jab. So the ball's in my right hand, so I'm going to break down the footwork now. So the ball's in my right hand, it's a quick drop cross. So a quick drop cross. Now with the footwork, once I drop the ball with my right hand, I step my left foot. Step my left foot first, then I jab my right foot to the right. Shift my body weight to the right. Then I push the ball out with the left. Here. So here it is. Full speed. Again. Drop. Jab right, go left. So now it's in my left hand. Same breakdown. Drop the ball on my left hand. Step right foot. Then step left foot towards my left. Shift my body to the left. Dribble to the right. So, here's the breakdown. Stop. All right, today we're going to do a breakdown of a front change, which is also called drop, cross, jab. So the ball's in my right hand, so I'm going to break down the footwork now. So the ball's in my right hand, it's a quick drop cross. So a quick drop cross. Now with the footwork, once I drop the ball with my right hand, I step my left foot. Step my left foot first, then I jab my right foot to the right. Shift my body weight to the right. Then I push the ball out with the left. Here. So here it is. Full speed. Again. Drop. Jab right, go left. So now it's in my left hand. Same breakdown. Drop the ball on my left hand. Step right foot. Then step left foot towards my left. Shift my body to the left. Dribble to the right. So, here's the breakdown. Stop.
All right, welcome back. Again, shout out to Jamal Hayward. We truly appreciate him getting that video together each and every week and the move that goes with it. So the Washington Wizards, quick score update before we even get into this at all. It's not going well at the moment. They're on the last leg of a 3-game road trip. They're in Cleveland. They're currently down 15, 70-55. Again, things just not going well at the moment at all. So we'll give you a score update, before the show ends. But prior to, let's talk about how they got to this point, which is in Cleveland tonight. Their last home game, they took out the reigning champs, so the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors, it was a really good game. The Wizards played their hearts out. Against, as Cardell said, against almost any other opponent, you like your chances with how well you played. But Golden State's Golden State. They pulled the Thanos. Washington missed. Literally everything went left when Sam Decker missed the bunny. And it turned into a 9-0 run. And then, everything that was once bad for them was good again. But they started the 3-game road trip in Orlando. They beat Orlando 95-91. Went to San Antonio, a place they haven't won in forever. They lost to San Antonio 132-119. We just told you the score in Cleveland. They return home this week for a 3-game homestand where they host the Oladipo-less Pacers on Wednesday, Giannis and company on Saturday, and then the Hawks return to the nation's capital on Monday. So, Cardell, just looking at how this road trip's gone, even from the Warriors game to now, and then looking at the week that they have, the rest of this week, how important is it that, they get 2 of these 3 home games this coming week?
It's important for them to win every game. They dug themselves a hole at the start of the season. It's no excuses. Don't nobody care about the injuries.
Yep.
Don't care about you having fatigue, All-Star weekend knocking on the door. This is what happens when you, in essence, kind of BS.
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the year, and you think you could just turn it on and stuff like that. Now you're in a hole. You can't afford to take any breaks. Every game is pretty much, you know, like if you was fighting for a playoff spot, you late in the season, and that's just the mentality they gotta have. You know, against the Spurs, the ugly Wizards defense reared its ugly head. You know, I mean, you allowed 132 points. You know, and it wasn't, and the only person that really got off was Marcus Aldridge. You know, he had 30 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists and 2 blocks on 12 of 21 shooting. That wasn't the issue. The issue was in the backcourt. Derek White had 16 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, and Brent Forbes had 16 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. But they combined for 12 of 16 shooting, which means there was no resistance. You know, 4 shot, 4 for 7 from deep. Then Davis Bertans come off the bench with 21 points on 8 of 11 shooting. It's not, you know, guys gonna get their points, but the thing is make them work, make them inefficient, and then you can live with it. These guys, look, I mean, the efficiency was crazy, and you're not gonna beat a well-coached team like the Spurs, giving them efficient scores. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Spurs got whatever they want. They shot 57% from the field, 47 from three-point range, and 85% from the line. And they out-rebounded the Wizards. Another key stat when you could tell when the Wizards about to lose, they out-rebounded the Wizards 56-41. We always say it throughout the season, when the Wizards don't defend, they don't rebound, they lose. It's as simple as that. And it's really I don't care what they do offensively. When they don't do that, they lose. And now that you're undermanned even more, you have to do that. And, you know, a lot of people raving about Thomas Bryant, his improved offensive game, but I'm like, look, man, I don't care nothing about that. He give you points, that's a bonus. But he's capable with his motor and athletic ability and size. I need 10 plus boards every night. Like, if you're not giving me that, I don't care about those points. If you got 20, but you got 4 rebounds, you ain't hooping. You know, they need rebounds. You know, they got guys that can put the ball on. Like, the Wizards gave up 132, but they scored 119. So offense has not been a problem. It's always, when they lose, is the defense and rebounding, and that's intensity. That's just one, and that's the end where you want it. And right now, if they want to try to, you know, sneak their way into the playoffs, they got to bring it every night. So they're gonna be tired, but this is the situation y'all created. So you gotta do what you gotta do.
You're exactly right. And this week, regardless of, you know, we all know what happened to Oladipo with season-ending injury to his quad. You know, prayers up to him for a speedy return. But still, without Oladipo, the Pacers aren't exactly a wounded team.
No.
Just want to make sure everyone is clear about that, about the team that will be in Capital One Arena tomorrow evening. They've played fairly well without him in the lineup this year. They're still a top 3 team in the East. Giannis and company on Saturday, that is currently the top team in the East. And then Atlanta, the Wizards had problems with Atlanta earlier this year when John Collins went off.
Look, you can't sleep on nobody.
No.
Because y'all are not in the playoffs. That means you're one of the worst teams in the league right now, record-wise and all that. The Hawks just beat the Clippers last night, so at their building. Once upon a time, the Clippers were leading the Western Conference, so you cannot. Those young players are getting better. John Collins is on the most improved watch and all that. Trae Young having an outstanding rookie year, great choice for them. You know, they're being led well by veterans, Vince Carter and all those guys. So you can't sleep with them, otherwise they'll beat you. And I'm looking at they're down 15 right now to the Cavs, 76-61. I'm looking at it right now. The Wizards are being out-rebounded, but they have 23. Are being rebounded 35-23. And the Cavs are shooting 53% from the field, 44% from deep right now. I mean, same thing from when they played the Spurs, same difference. So, and it's no wonder why they done double digits. Like I said, when they don't defend, they don't rebound, they lose.
And if you guys have been following us, you know, this year, pregame chats is literally the barometer for what happens to them each and every game.
Right.
It's been a reoccurring theme. We don't just keep bringing it up just for the sake of bringing it up. It's because literally, most often than not, if you're not watching a game, you can pull up the box score, look at those stats, and look at opponent field goal percentage and look at the rebounding. You probably got a clear picture without, you know, turning the game on.
Right.
That being said, onto the Capital City Go-Go.
Right. They took on the Grand Rapids Drive on Sunday. and they fell in overtime 115-111. They finished the season series with a 2-1 edge over the Drive. Keyshawn Howard went off, best game I've seen him play all year. He had a career high 33 points on 7 threes, which established a record for the Go-Go, obviously, in their first year. So, but despite all that, the bottom line is Capital City couldn't contain the Drive guards. Ironically, we talking about defense on the Wizards. Same thing happened on Saturday, which is uncharacteristic. Normally, the Go-Go contain guys, but not this game. Isaiah Whitehead had the game high 35 points and 5 assists. And what impressed me about him, he made all the clutch plays down the stretch, to force overtime and a winning in overtime. So he literally won the game with key shots and key plays. And former Wizard Marcus Thornton, he had 28.7 rebounds off the bench. Gary Payton II, son of Gary Payton, the Hall of Famer, he had a double-double with 17 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 assists. And Duje Ducan posted 22 points off the bench. Basically, the Drive forced 20 Go-Go turnovers, leading to 22 points. And they scored 58 points in the paint, where the Go-Go only scored 34. And that was the difference right there. It was just too easy. That point differential in the paint, where you got to work so hard to get yours, but they're just getting easy. It's only a matter of time before, they, in a sense, kind of, I ain't going to say fully break your will, but
it's deflating.
Yeah, exactly. So they have to correct that. That's a misnomer. Obviously, the Go-Go obviously do a better job than that. You can tell by their record right now. I think they're 4th in the standings. They're 17-12, so they're 4th in the East right now. So, that's not normally, it's just that Whitehead and Thorne went to work, and sometimes that happens. They come back tomorrow. They play the Blue Coats, and at 11 a.m.
All right. Moving on to MLS real quick. DC United preseason officially underway. Currently, the team's down in Clearwater, Florida. Weather up here, because I don't blame them not one bit. But down in Florida, continuing training camp. Some news since we last spoke to you all. Their new USL team, like Capital City Go-Go, the first time that the Wizards have their affiliate in the G League, DC United is the first time they have a USL team. Formerly, they used to loan their players down to Richmond, but this time they have their own. It is called Loudoun United. As of last week, they were asking questions to both DC United's GM and Ben Olsen about, they didn't have a coach yet. They didn't have a technical director. Those things have been answered. They hired Richie Williams, formerly of DC United, he was a player back in the day. He's the head coach, and then Dane Murphy has been labeled the technical director. Also, DC United, they cleared up some news. This was also asked last week, which was like the unofficial media day. Was this the first time media was allowed at, pretty much preseason training camp, etc. before heading down to Florida. Outside back has been in question. O'Neal Fisher went down late last season. They have Joseph Mora, but outside of that, you have youngsters. You spend a first-round pick on Akeem Ward. You have Chris Aduyatsam, who we're going to talk about just a little bit later. But both Ben Olsen and Dave Casper had alluded to that they were looking for a starting back, and they found it. Appears that they found it. According to Washington Post, Stephen Goff, DC United finalized a deal with Argentine defender Leonardo Jara, and that's a big fit because it was a need. Another thing another area of need they're going to have to fill is up top. You need to find another forward to spell Wayne Rooney, and at times to come in and play while Wayne drops back. As far as Chris Aduyatsam, for those of you that didn't know, he was diagnosed with a form of cancer last year. And congrats to him. He officially completed his cancer treatment today.
All right.
Shout out to him. That is huge. Other thing for him on the soccer side of things, he is one of those younger players that are in that fight, like Akeem Ward, to try to steal some minutes or make a case that they can perform admirably at that back position. But we're going to go ahead, and we got a chance to talk to Billy Meade. So it's his first full year back after leaving. So we're going to cue that video up when we get back. Rapid fire. First off, just how was your offseason having back in the area this time for your offseason?
Yeah, it was good off season. I actually did a lot of traveling. I was moving around in London for a little bit, and in Los Angeles for a little bit, but it was good. It was good to get away from the game a little bit and rest up and kind of just rejuvenate for the new season.
All right, the way you guys finished the year last year, it was a crazy run. Obviously not the way you guys wanted it to end. How do you go about replicating success from last year into the start of this year, knowing that you kind of got to brain dump that because it's a whole new season?
Well, you just saw it. You know, it's all about the training and the attitude and the concentration, the togetherness. It's all about putting everything together from front to back, from the defense to the offense, and just continuing to grow. We got a lot of new pieces. I guess that's a little repetitive year by year, but we have pieces, and it's important to gain as much chemistry as we can before the beginning of the season.
All right, you talked about some of those new pieces. You're kind of like the poster child for the homegrown products here, DC United. You got several on the roster to start this year. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think giving young boys that are trying to become men in this whole process the opportunity is great. These guys, they deserve it. They've played well at their universities. They've played well at other clubs and throughout their youth career, and now's their opportunity. So, you know, we're encouraging them, we're pushing them, and we're supporting them, and, you know, they've come in with great attitudes and the right mindset, so hopefully it continues.
And then lastly, your thoughts on this facility. Last year they started training outdoors during this time of year.
Yeah.
This year you're here.
Yeah, it's great. You know, St. James is great. The facility is first class. I used to live in this area, and I used to play at Annandale Boys and Girls Club, which has an indoor facility directly across the street. Also Fairfax Sportsplex that I used to play at as a kid, which is also on the other end of the street. So for them to build this facility for the youth of this area, give all sorts of athletes, you don't even need to be an athlete to come here and to enjoy the facility. They've given them a platform to come here and enjoy themselves, you know, have some physical activity, and give the athletes the opportunity to, you know, perfect their craft. And that's amazing. That's amazing to see this in my community.
All right, and okay, Cardell. Everyone's favorite time of the show, except for mine. Rapid fire. Octavia's not here to be subjected to this with me.
Hey,
So
man.
lucky me.
Yeah.
All right.
We're going to start off with this LeBron Jackson. But kind of a more serious topic.
Yeah.
Memphis head coach Penny Hardaway says the NBA background of his Memphis coaching staff is creating jealousy among other college coaches. Quote, I'm getting used to this as a coach because it's a little jealousy from a lot of these coaches around the country. I do understand that because we are NBA players trying to come back and we didn't have any experience as college coaches. So we didn't, quote, unquote, pay our dues. So the coaches and their so-called boys that are in the media, they're throwing jabs at us. Memphis is currently 13-7, overall 5-2 in the American Athletic Conference, tied for third place. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not surprised, but it's still that's kind of ironic that, you know, college coaches were in a system where you're afforded a whole lot of rights that players don't have with the way you move around and things of that nature. For you to look at, you know, former NBA players or whatever, I mean, if anything, you should feel comfortable since that's something, this is new to them. You shouldn't be, ideally to me, you shouldn't be worried about it at all. If you're doing what you should be doing, you already have programs that are stable. You know, he's taking over something, yes, it's his alma mater, but, you know, we talk all the time, when you take over a program, even when, you know, it takes a while before it's officially yours.
Right.
So, I mean, he's still behind the 8 ball to many coaches around the country in a certain respect. Obviously, from a recruiting standpoint, yes, it helps. You're in the NBA. Secondly, if that was you, say that, you know, if you were one of those coaches, say you're not a former NBA player, but in your network, you have access to various coaches that could help your program, help your staff, what would it be like for us to judge you for that? That doesn't make any sense. They're ideally doing the same thing you would do. It just happens that they happen to be former players. I just feel like this is one of those things where it's coming from very insecure places. And if it is something where media members are playing a role in this and happily participating in it, that's just sad. Like, that's not your job. Your job is to show up, report, Obviously taking information report that has nothing to do with anything. You said they're 13-7. They're not at the bottom of their conference. If that was the case, then sure, let's talk about that. But that's not what's happening. So I don't understand what the issue is.
I mean, I like to look at all sides, not just, you make a great point for one side, but, the other side is a lot of the coaching fraternity, they wasn't happy with how Tubby Smith got dismissed.
Gotcha.
So I think that has most of it to do with, so they're not going to give him any favors.
Right.
And he just got to expect that. But also, you got to look at it, at the end of the day, it's about results. If he start to win, he get recruits. I think he got the number one player coming. Wiseman or whatever. So you get that, bring in recruits, and you start to win. All this will blow over. And, he's talking about the media, boys and media, that goes on at all levels, especially in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like, for people that don't know, this is how things work. For a lot of media people to keep their sources, they got to put BS out there as favors to, pro level teams, agents, or whatever, and then college coaches. So you can keep a certain level of access where you can break stories and you are ahead of the game and you keep your job. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it works. So, but one thing I also want to look at this, and this not on Penny, because I root for Penny. I like Penny. In a way, he did pay dues on the EYBO circuit. I've been covering that thing for years. He put time in, man. So, but not just on the collegiate level. And it's ironic, a lot of those players that he coached at the high school levels, these coaches that hate on him now were recruiting those same players. So, but, that's why I really think it has something to do with the Tubby Smith situation. But I want NBA players to look at how he, what he's talking about as far as the coaching fraternity in college not accepting them because they feel like they ain't paid dues, they're not qualified, they don't belong, you ain't do it. Because you hear a lot of former NBA players saying that about people who have not played in NBA, they're saying the same thing. You see what I'm saying? It don't feel good when the shoe's on the other foot, you see what I'm saying? My thing is give respect. You can tell pretty quickly if somebody put work in, they understand the game, and if they're qualified for their position. And then it's about getting results. As long as they have those two, give them respect.
That's fair.
Whether they came in as a player or whatnot, you know what I'm saying? You got to give respect. That's what it is. Because newsflash, a lot of successful people in the NBA throughout history never played and never would have played because they just ain't have the tools. So, like you said, the key word is insecurity. It's a lot of people, highly successful people, that are insecure as hell. And they just got to check that at the door and just look at the results, and you got to respect it. And that's what it is about at the end of the day. Obviously, if you've been under a rock, Anthony Davis, he requested a trade from the Pelicans via his agent, Rich Paul, Clutch Sports. It appears the Lakers are the favorites to land him. Appears. We've seen appear before with other players like Kawhi and Paul George, but I'm not going to get into that.
Several examples over the past 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
So, obviously, Rich Paul had, another client of his, LeBron James, is the star of the Lakers. But I'm not going to get into the typical, all that, blah, blah, Anthony Davis, is he going to go there? My question to you is it good for the league to have a current agency representing players across the league that is so closely connected to a premier player like LeBron James?
I think this is something where I'm surprised this has even been going, like this was even allowed to go on, honestly, without them, like, plainly saying, like, you remember, what was it, Jay had Rock Nation, was still part of with the Nets.
Right.
They were like, obviously, if you can do one and the other, but not both.
Right.
You can't, it's a
That's
conflict
a
of
good point.
interest, right?
That's a good point.
And the league went out their way to make sure that was clear. So I'm surprised that we've gotten this far with Clutch. And it's not a knock on Rich Paul, Bron, etc., but it is what it is, where we are in this place. Perception is what it is as well. We are here. This is the second instance in which we found ourselves in this place. I'm surprised we're here without the league having done something prior to now. I do foresee the league trying to do something. We saw today that Anthony Davis issued a $50,000 fine. Also saw, we've heard in the past couple of years teams complaining about open tampering from LeBron because it was essentially like, yeah, technically that's not, you're saying it as a player, but at the same time, and this is, again, perception. This is, for Rich Paul, this is just perception. Whatever you do, we're going to see Bron. You know what I'm saying? This is part of what happened, just perception. Again, not a knock, we just live in actualities here. We talk about perception all the time, living in reality. And this is where this conflict of interest looms.
Right.
And I'm interested to see what the league does about this, because teams aren't going to, it's only so long this is going to continue to happen. And I saw someone today float something crazy out like, well, this is why NBA owners might get to the franchise tag. Yeah, that's not happening in the NBA. Okay, so we can stop all that. That no matter what happens with this is not going that far. But I am amazed that no one foresaw this coming after, the opening. Opening of Clutch Sports' period, and then, the voice LeBron's been allowed to have in the league, which is not the same things with your voice, but with everything, you say something, we're gonna be held accountable. Whatever we say, whether we're on air, off air, etc. Same thing goes with, if that's your business partner, it's blurred lines here.
It's definitely blurred lines. I'm a address it. I forgot the coach who said it. He said a famous quote. He said in college basketball, when they want to get at the Blue Bloods, Kentucky, Duke, and North Carolina at NCAA, they take scholarships away from Weber State, low major. That's their way of getting to them. You know what I'm saying? They don't go after the heavyweights because that's their cash cow. That's what generates the attention and stuff like that. That's to see LeBron James fit in, which is why it's dangerous what's going on. And that's why the tampering thing, and like finding Anthony Davis is a joke because his representation put that out there. You see what I'm saying? But they can't really do too much to the representation. Exactly. Yeah. And anybody that's walking around acting like LeBron James don't have, control over what's going on over there are fools. But it's a lot of fools out there if you just get on Twitter and watch. For me, I want to see competition across the league. And I'm not knocking Anthony Davis. This ain't about Anthony Davis because, honestly, New Orleans have put him in a Kevin Garnett type situation where they just rolling him out there and just selling tickets, and they're not trying to win. It's like you can't just let Rondo, especially how Sean they came on last year, even though Boogie tore his Achilles, man, you got to rock with that just to see. I would have talked to him, be like, look, man, give me a year to see if you bounce back. And if you bounce back, we gonna max you.
And that's the thing. They didn't even try to see where this could go. They immediately, when they got it out, they took the out.
They let that go, and they let Rondo go with nothing. And I know when they did that, I knew that was right on the wall. He was gonna be pissed, and rightfully so. So this is not really at him. It's the competitive balance where, because a Clutch Sports, because of the seat that LeBron James sit in, he has a lot of power. And if he navigates trying to, get all these top players to come join him, or not just join him, join certain teams, what does that mean for the league? Now, I see a lot of people trying to justify, man, he's empowering the players and stuff like that. I'm like, no, he's empowering himself and what he has going on after basketball and dressing it up through that. Like, don't look at the surface, man. Look deeper than that, and you will understand what's totally going on. I'm just, and that's what I'm just sick of. Honestly, I just can't wait for this era to be over so we can get back to competitive basketball. I'm not mad at the players want to go different teams if they're not happy with situations, because like we said, we would never have all the information behind the scenes. But
again, going back to perception, when all this is out there, and it's a continuous, we've been hearing this for like the past 6-7 years.
Right.
From the same camp, same different variables.
Listen, let's be
same
real.
Things.
They're taking a shortcut route to build this man's legacy, so he won't have to fight and grow a team to win. It's as simple as that. And he started it with the move to go play with Dwayne Wade. He started this. People don't want to admit that. They want to overlook that. And that's what I always say is you can't call KD a snake, but then justify over here with LeBron and stuff like that.
Even just in the past year, you got to a new team, everyone's automatically trade bait, and everybody's cool with this.
And coaches get fired every time after you stop. But it's about him. And if you don't believe that, look no further than this situation where he called himself the GOAT. If I remember correctly, Kyrie was hitting all those clutch buckets to deliver that championship in Game 7. I know you was having a triple double, but who closed? So you gotta give proper respect to everybody because you did not win that by yourself. And
that's my biggest thing. I think this whole time, you and I talk a lot, is that it turns into a me and them thing way too often for me.
Yeah, and the thing is, they look at us and think we hating. No, we actually acknowledging this greatness to be like, you too great for that ish, man.
Have to.
You shouldn't have to take all these shortcuts, man, to try to get to a certain thing. You're that great. Dominate these fools, and that way we know, like, yo, y'all couldn't mess with Slim. Y'all could not do nothing with him.
And it's that simple. And this is the thing, I guess, for both of us here is, say even with, say this year you had the kids or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
You go to war with the kids, everybody buys in, you make a run, you fall short. My respect is there because you did it, you bought it, and you led a group of youngsters. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with you falling short when I feel like everything's on the table and there's not all these, the business moves at hand. But yeah, it's too much, man.
Come on, man. It's unnecessary. You could have just, look, that's why Kyrie left in the first place. He knew this was going to come.
And this is the other thing to me before we close the show and everything is everyone's so quick to be like, oh, we expect this trade to happen before the deadline. Wake up real quick. Just let's think about this, all right? You're New Orleans in a situation. It doesn't make any sense for the Pelicans, who literally have a year from now until next year's trade deadline, just to keep this, living in reality. They don't have to do anything till next year's trade deadline. That's when the buzzer technically sounds. You're 12 months away from that. You can wait to the end of the season. You can wait midway through next season, whenever, but it's imperative that you get the best deal possible. And I saw a lot of people like, oh, well, get the Lakers first round pick. If you look at the standings, the Pelicans are lower. They're ranked lower than the Lakers. So in turns, if you took the Lakers first round pick, the Lakers get better by that trade. You're in a sense getting a worse pick.
Right.
Not only that, some of the other packages you have around the league, the collections of younger talent, those packages are often greater.
And one more point before we
Go
get
ahead.
out, because I'm tired of people using this to justify these moves. They be looking for reasons. Yo, stop saying LeBron James never played for a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
He never stuck around long enough so a coach can become great. He left, or they get fired, or he got him fired, new coach come in, and he leaves. Okay? Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich, who people try to use, were not great coaches when they arrived on the scene. Phil was an assistant with the Bulls who just came up from the CBA. He was known for being a hippie with the Knicks as a player.
Yep.
Greg Popovich, do you know how many games he won the year before? With his first year, it was like 17 and 47.
Yeah.
You know what happened? They drafted Tim Duncan. All of a sudden, the fortunes changed. They started winning. He's a genius now, all of a sudden. But it's not coincidence. So what if Tim Duncan and Michael Jordan like, man, who's this coach, man? Give me a coach in here that's proven.
They don't buy in. We're probably not talking about these two dudes right here.
All right, so you can go through history with that.
Yeah.
Same with Magic and Pat Riley, man. Give me somebody that's proven. Pat Riley ain't win nothing before that. So you have to keep things in perspective and be fair across the board and call a spade a spade.
And that's all it simply is. And for it to be all of a sudden called the hating that's asinine. That's literally just what that is. It's not hating. It's simply stating facts.
And taking a shortcut to go play with this dude guarantees you nothing. Last I checked, he's 3-6 in the finals. It's a current team full of players that have 3 rings in doing this run.
And this is the thing that kind of bothers me. We've been talking about this the last couple of years. We're literally in the midst of if this was the team said person was on, we'd be talking about this ad nauseum.
Mm-hmm.
The current 11-game streak, I know nobody cares, but this is the most locked in Golden State's been in a regular season the last 2 years.
Right.
So just keep that in mind. But as always, get over to finestmag.com, get over to mymodelsports.com, and 3 Wizards games this week. We're going to be busy. Got some Maryland stuff, got GW stuff, as always. And make sure you check out that mid-season edition. Next week's going to be extremely thorough from Finest Mag. We'll see you guys in a couple of weeks.